She never thought a simple act of kindness could destroy her life in a matter of hours. It was just another shift at the diner, another day of serving customers, refilling coffee cups, and forcing a smile. But when she decided to help a man in need, someone she didn't even recognize at first, her entire world crumbled around her. By the time she clocked out that night, she was unemployed, humiliated, and unsure of what to do next. But what happened the next day? Nobody could have seen it coming. Stay with me, because this story will leave you speechless. Her name was Lisa, a single mom, working double shifts to keep the lights on. For the past 3 years, she had been waitressing at a small-town diner, one of those places where the coffee was always hot, the bacon extra crispy, and the regulars knew each other by name. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. On this particular evening, she noticed a man sitting alone in a booth near the back. He wasn't causing any trouble, just quietly scrolling through his phone. But something about him caught her attention. Maybe it was the way he kept looking over his shoulder. Maybe it was the fact that he didn't touch his food, just stirred his coffee absent-mindedly. Or maybe it was the way the manager kept staring at him, whispering to another waitress. Lisa didn't think much of it until her manager pulled her aside. "Don't serve him anything else," the manager said in a hushed tone. "Just ignore him. If he doesn't leave soon, I'm calling security." Lisa frowned. "Why? What did he do?" The manager scoffed. "He's one of those guys stirring up trouble online. We don't serve people like him here." Lisa glanced back at the man. He looked normal, just a guy trying to have a quiet meal. Her gut told her something was off. So when she saw him reach for his wallet, looking embarrassed, like he wasn't sure if he was welcome, Lisa made a decision. She grabbed a fresh cup of coffee, walked right up to his table, and refilled his cup. That's when everything exploded. The manager stormed over, red-faced and furious. "I told you not to serve him," she snapped. Lisa set the coffee pot down. "It's just coffee. It's not just coffee," the manager hissed. "Do you even know who that is? That's Dan Bongino. We don't serve people like him." Lisa blinked. She had heard the name before but didn't follow politics much. Wasn't he some kind of radio host, a former Secret Service agent? Before she could say another word, the manager grabbed the coffee pot from her hands and slammed it onto the counter. "Get your things and leave. You're fired." Lisa's heart stopped. "Wait, what?" Over coffee, the manager folded her arms. "You want to serve people like that? Go work somewhere else." Lisa stood frozen. The other waitresses averted their eyes. The customers had gone silent. She could feel the heat rising to her face, the lump forming in her throat. She had no savings, no backup plan, no way to pay rent, and now, no job. She took off her apron, tossed it onto the counter, and walked out the door, tears burning in her eyes. She had done the right thing, so why did it feel like she had just ruined her life? But if Lisa thought losing her job was the worst thing that could happen, she was about to be proven wrong, because the next day, something unbelievable happened. Lisa barely slept that night. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, running through every possible way to fix the mess she was in. Rent was due in 2 weeks. Her son needed new shoes for school. She had no savings, no backup plan, just the cold reality that she had lost everything over something as simple as a cup of coffee. By morning, she had made up her mind. She was going to swallow her pride, go back to the diner, and beg for her job back. Lisa hated the thought of it, but what choice did she have? She got dressed, pulled her hair into a ponytail, and was just about to head out the door when her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Unknown number. Her stomach tightened. She almost ignored it, but something told her to answer. She hesitated, then pressed accept. "Hello?" The voice on the other end was deep, steady, and unmistakable. "Lisa, this is Dan Bongino." Lisa's knees nearly buckled. She gripped the phone tighter. "Wait, what?" A chuckle. "Yeah, I know. Probably not the call you were expecting this morning." Lisa's heart pounded. Why was he calling her? How did he even get her number? Before she could say anything, Dan continued. "I heard what happened. Someone sent me a video from the diner. You got fired for helping me? Lisa swallowed hard. Yeah, I guess I did. Dan was quiet for a second. Then he said something that made Lisa's breath catch in her throat. I want to help you. Lisa shook her head. You don't have to do that. I want to, Dan interrupted. I can't stand seeing good people get punished for doing the right thing. Lisa sat down on the edge of her couch, her hands shaking. Was this really happening? Then Dan said something even more shocking. Can you meet me today? I have an offer for you. Lisa almost dropped the phone. An offer? Her mind raced. Was this real? Was she dreaming? She took a deep breath and whispered, Where do you want to meet? Lisa pulled into the coffee shop parking lot, gripping the steering wheel so tight her knuckles turned white. She had no idea what to expect. All she knew was that her life had fallen apart less than 24 hours ago. And now, she was about to sit face to face with the man at the center of it all. She stepped inside, scanning the room. And there he was, Dan Bongino. He waved her over, a friendly smile on his face. Lisa swallowed her nerves and walked toward him. Lisa, he said, standing up to shake her hand. Glad you came. She sat down, still unsure what to say. Dan leaned forward. Look, I know what happened at the diner wasn't fair, and I know you're struggling right now. So here's what I want to do. Lisa held her breath. Dan slid a piece of paper across the table. Lisa glanced down, and her jaw dropped. It was a job offer, a real job, with better pay, better hours, and actual benefits. Dan smiled. I could use someone like you on my team. You've got guts. You stand up for what's right. I respect that. Lisa stared at him, speechless. Less than 24 hours ago, she had lost everything, and now, her life had just taken a turn she never could have imagined. Lisa sat frozen, staring at the job offer in front of her. This had to be a joke. A day ago, she was standing behind the counter of a dingy diner, scraping by on tips. Now Dan Bongino, the man at the center of the storm, was offering her something better, something real. She looked up, her voice barely above a whisper. You don't even know me. Why would you do this? Dan leaned back, folding his arms. Because I know what it's like to be punished for standing up for what's right. Lisa swallowed hard. Dan continued. People out there are afraid to do the right thing because they know there'll be consequences. But you didn't think twice. That tells me everything I need to know about you. Lisa felt her hands shaking. A new job, a real shot at something better. But doubt crept in. What if I'm not good enough? I've never done anything other than wait tables. Dan smiled. You've got work ethic, courage, and integrity. The rest, you'll learn. Lisa took a deep breath. She thought about her son, about the bills piling up, about the humiliation of being fired over something so ridiculous. And then she thought about the future. A future where she wasn't just surviving, a future where she could finally breathe. Lisa reached out, picked up the pen, and signed her name. Lisa left the coffee shop in a daze, clutching the job offer in her hands like it might disappear. She had no idea that while she was sitting across from Dan Bongino, the entire internet was erupting over what had happened to her. The video from the diner had already gone viral. News outlets picked up the story. Social media was flooded with people furious over Lisa being fired for something so small. #Justice for Lisa was trending. By the time she got home, her phone was buzzing non-stop. Texts from old coworkers, voicemails from reporters, even messages from complete strangers offering help. Lisa's stomach twisted. She had never been in the spotlight before. But then her heart stopped. She got a notification. Dan Bongino just posted. She clicked on it, her hands shaking. It was a video. Dan sat in front of the camera, his face serious. A good person lost her job yesterday for no reason. That's not okay. So I did something about it. The video cut to a picture of Lisa's job offer. Dan continued. Lisa, welcome to the team. And to everyone watching. If you believe in standing up for what's right, help me make sure she never has to struggle again. Lisa's eyes widened. Her Cash App and Venmo were in the description. She barely had time to process it before the first donation came in. Then another, then another. Within minutes, her accounts exploded with thousands of dollars from complete strangers, people who believed in her, people who wanted to help. Lisa covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Yesterday, she lost everything. Today, she had more than she ever dreamed of. A few days later, Lisa walked into her first day on the new job, still trying to wrap her head around everything that had happened. She had a fresh start, a better paycheck, and a whole new support system that she never expected. But there was one more surprise waiting for her. As she settled in, her phone rang again. It was an unknown number. Lisa hesitated before answering. "Hello?" A warm, familiar voice came through the line. "Lisa, this is Tucker Carlson. I heard about your story. Mind if I share it with my audience?" Lisa's heart stopped. This wasn't just big. This was life-changing. She had gone from a nameless waitress to a national story overnight. And the crazy part, her journey was just beginning. And that, my friends, is how a single act of kindness can turn your entire life upside down. Lisa thought she had lost everything, but in reality, she had gained more than she ever could have imagined. What would you have done in her situation? Walked away, or stood your ground? Drop a comment below, and let me know. And if you want more unbelievable true stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.